Hello, friends. Those of you who've been following me for a long time may recognize this little fella. I've been working on this portrait for a month. What that means is 40 minutes at a time, spread out over a period of months. Jane, I'm just about done if you happen to catch this. I want to bring you in here and show you a little bit of my process for finishing a portrait. Now let me, again, those of you who haven't been with me for any of my portrait journey, let me zoom in here. There we go. I think that'll work. Good. Let me tell you what I have done on this portrait. First of all, I call myself, I'm a B-rate, B-rated portrait painter. Now, the reason I'm working on it is because I want to be a better portrait painter, of course. I'm about 50% of the time I can nail I feel like a perfect likeness. Perfect? Do I have to put that in quotes? Close enough to perfect. This one I did not. I made every mistake in the book, and I had to eventually appeal to cheating, all different kinds of cheating methods. The last of which was actually something like this. I won't even take time to describe that, but this is accurate to the photograph, and even doing the photograph, the portrait same size as a photograph, even that's a cheat. But I'm all done. I have a likeness. This is definitely him. All I want to do is in the last few minutes is I want to put a few marks on the portrait to make it look a little bit more like a, well, quote-unquote, legitimate portrait. That is to say, I want to add some brush strokes. So I just did one touch there, and then I smeared it a little bit too much in the white of his eye. And then over here, I've mixed up a color that's virtually exactly what's already there, maybe half a shade lighter, and I'm going to hit this cheek one more time. I even want it to glow just a little bit, so I'm actually going to fuzz it out with my finger, drag some of that light into the dark here. The essence of what I'm doing here is I'm doing lively or energetic brush strokes as a very final touch. Does that make sense? Oh, I just remembered I've got a little issue I need to straighten out here with this eyebrow, and I'll get to that later. So I'm not quite finishing. But what I'm doing here is adding lively brush strokes. This is, if I almost considered calling this how to cheat a portrait, cheat finish a portrait, because I'm putting lively, unblended brush strokes here at the very end in order to create the illusion that the entire painting was done with bold, energetic strokes. Does that make sense? So this is what, forgive me, this is what B-level portrait painters do. Since I don't have the skills to render the whole thing in bold strokes, I render it as catch can. Do whatever I need to do to get the job done, to get the likeness perfect, and then come back after all that's done and apply some bolder strokes, again, to make it look like I did the whole thing. So in a way, I'm cheating. Does that make sense? Now, part of the reason I'm not horribly embarrassed to share all this with you is I have a strong sense that many of the big boys actually do something, sometimes, not always perhaps, but sometimes do something very similar. Come back with bolder strokes after the hard work of rendering is done. I'm doing the same thing on the ear now. Got just the color that I want. There you go. Okay, I'm going to fix this eyebrow. You don't have to watch me do that part. In other words, this is backing up now to stuff. This is not cheating. This is just trying to correct a rendering issue. And trying to leave a little more energy in the strokes here at the very end, so that it looks a little bit more like a painting. There you go. I'm going to call, and I don't know how much of that. Well, let's do some hairs. Let's do a hair, because that's a good place to introduce some lively, some energetic strokes. Yeah, there we go. Even a little bit of more lively color. Just final strokes. Almost all these final strokes are dark as opposed to light. And I might be all done. Let me take a break and look at this with fresh eyes. This is a dark stroke. I'm doing in his nostril there. And I believe I'm all done. Let me bring you in and let you see this straight on. Whoops. Hang on, hang on. There we go. So that's what it looks like. I don't know how much of that you're seeing, but hi Heather. Did I do any translucent? Yes, Heather, I did a ton of translucent. Very much. Most, forgive me there, most of the final stages were actually translucent layers. Okay, so that's just one way to, as I say, cheat finish a portrait. I'm going to let that sit on my easel for a day or two, sign it, and deliver it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back again, who knows when, hopefully soon.